A boy can turn poor people into millionaires, but everyone who adopts him mysteriously dies on the 7th day. Still, desperate to get rich, a couple with absolutely nothing to their name decides to take him in. See, just a few days earlier, they were 3 months behind on rent and had to keep their door shut every day just to avoid the landlord. But the landlord didn't just threaten them, he doused the place with gasoline and said if they didn't pay up, he'd burn the whole house down. With their lives on the line, the couple had no choice but to adopt the boy. But when the orphanage manager found out which child they were there for, he urged them to reconsider. They couldn't afford to. They were banking on this kid to change their fortune. They expected the boy to be hideous or something, but to their surprise, he was adorable, well-behaved, and sweet. He even took a liking to his new mom right away. The manager told them the boy could give them everything they wanted, but in return, they had to give him one thing: love. Unconditional, forever love. The husband, though, he was already planning to kill the boy on day 7. The wife brought out the only 2 eggs they had in the house, just hoping to make the kid happy. But the moment the boy fell asleep, 500,000 appeared out of thin air right next to his pillow. So the rumors were true after all. The next morning, the wife woke up to find the boy standing right in front of her. He pointed to a photo and asked who the little boy in it was. She explained it was her son, her child who died in an accident. But before she could say more, her husband barged in and cut her off. The man had bought the boy a toy car and said he was heading out to collect scrap for money. So the wife decided to go out too, picking up plastic to sell. But then she heard someone call out mom. She figured she was just hearing things and kept working. Then the voice came again, and there, standing right in front of her, was her dead son. The garbage truck ahead suddenly started reversing. She watched in horror as the scene of her son's death played out all over again. When she snapped out of it, the little boy was somehow standing right in front of the truck. She screamed at the top of her lungs, but neither the boy nor the driver seemed to hear her. At the very last second, she managed to pull him out of the way. That close call didn't just bring them closer, it awakened something deep inside her. She was determined to protect this child from her husband. That night, the wife prepared a feast. Knowing all they had to do was wait for the boy to fall asleep to get rich, the couple couldn't help but exchange greedy grins. Sure enough, once the boy was sound asleep, a loud thud came from the ceiling. This time, the reward was gold bracelets. On the morning of day 3, the husband couldn't wait to cash them in. He paid off all the back rent and even tipped the landlord like some big shot. The landlord's jaw nearly hit the floor, but nobody in the village dared to mess with the boy. Every night brought different treasures, this time, a massive gold chain weighing dozens of taels. By day 4, they were tipping taxi drivers and dining at restaurants they could never have dreamed of affording before. The husband tried to order a Western meal for the boy, but the waiter sneered, implying they couldn't afford it. The husband flashed his cash and shut him up real quick. He'd withdrawn a huge stack of bills beforehand. But during the meal, the boy suddenly choked and collapsed, and thankfully it wasn't serious, just a peanut allergy. But between the fancy restaurant bill and the emergency room fees, their money was nearly wiped out. And because of the boy's episode, they didn't receive a single cent that night. Day 5. Eager to get more wealth, the husband promised to take the boy to an amusement park once the rain stopped. But they didn't even have enough for that now. He started complaining about getting nothing the night before. The ceiling was leaking. He said they never should have taken the kid to that restaurant, they should have waited until they were loaded before spending big on him. But by now, the wife already saw the boy as her own son. She begged her husband not to hurt him. The husband said he didn't want to either, but everyone who'd adopted the boy before had died. This was the only way they'd survive. The wife pushed back. She said if their son were still alive, he'd be about the same age as this boy. Maybe this was heaven giving them a second chance. While they argued, the leak in the roof got even worse. After patching it up, the husband's frustration boiled over. He yelled at the boy and furiously demanded he hand over the riches. His wife couldn't believe what she was seeing. How could he be so heartless? Without this boy, they would have been thrown out on the street long ago. The rain only made the husband more desperate to get rich. That night, he searched every corner of the house but found nothing. Defeated, he was about to go to sleep, then turned around to find the boy staring at him with an eerie gaze. Day 6. The husband had barely fallen asleep. When the wife woke up, the boy was gone. She rushed outside and saw something terrifying. The boy was crouching next to a towering pile of garbage, and the wall beside it could collapse at any moment. She frantically called for him to come back, but it was already too late. She screamed for her husband while charging toward the pile. Seeing there was no stopping her, the husband ran in to help. Just as they reached the boy, disaster struck again. But because of what they did, when they came to, they found themselves inside a luxurious mansion. It was the boy's reward for their selflessness. The husband felt like he'd hit the absolute peak of his life. This was everything he'd ever dreamed of. The place was fully furnished, and the property deed had their names on it. The husband enjoyed the most extravagant night of his life. But the very next day, problems started piling up. The mansion had all the furniture you could want, but the fridge was completely empty. Even the cupboards had nothing in them. Just to fill their stomachs, he picked a few apples from a tree outside and brought 2 to his wife. But she wasn't having it. She didn't want him laying a finger on that child. Looking at the frail little boy lying on the bed, the husband hesitated. To make sure nothing could go wrong, he gathered up every dangerous object in the house and locked them away. As a gesture of goodwill, he even bought the boy a new toy and sincerely apologized to him.
Bapak bodoh, egois, nggak tahu makasih. Padahal kamu udah nyelamatin kita. Ngasih semua ini, kebahagiaan ibu. Bapak percaya, kamu nggak akan ngapa-ngapain kita.
He looked at his wife, then took the boy's hand. He asked for forgiveness. When the boy nodded, the husband finally felt at ease and left the room. But the moment he stepped into the living room, a loud crash came from behind him. He rushed back to find 2 bags stuffed full of cash. Combined with the mansion, this was more than enough for him and his wife to live comfortably for the rest of their lives. And that's when a dark thought crept into his mind. Meanwhile, the wife woke up to find the boy missing. She tried to go look for him but discovered the bedroom door was locked from the outside. The boy had already been tied up and dumped in the living room. The husband had no intention of testing that curse. Now that they had everything they needed, he saw no reason to keep the boy around. The wife screamed and pounded on the door, begging him to stop. But her husband wouldn't listen. In sheer desperation, she climbed over the balcony with her bare hands and dropped down. When she reached the main hall, she spotted the boy on the floor. Her husband had already dug a hole outside. But when he came back with his tools, the boy was gone. All the wife could do now was run with the boy in her arms. The husband chased after them immediately. He refused to spend another day living in fear. He followed their trail and ended up right back at their old rundown house. He demanded she hand over the boy, but she'd already accepted him as her own. These few days together had made her love him. The husband didn't care. He insisted the boy was a demon and ripped him from her arms. But just as he turned to leave with the boy, a chill ran down his spine. To stop her husband's madness, the wife had stabbed him. She was consumed with regret, because no matter how poor they'd been, her husband had never once let her suffer. She dropped to her knees, apologizing over and over. But it was too late. She looked at the boy, trembling in the corner, then slowly picked up the dagger. Her eyes were filled with hatred as she moved toward him, step by step. But then, she turned the blade around and plunged it into her own chest. The little boy was sent back to the orphanage once again. Who knows what the next family to adopt him will go through.